In today's video, I built a giant birthday cake themed house in Bloxburg. Hey glossettes, welcome back. How are you guys doing today? Now I am doing incredible because today is actually my birthday. I'm expecting to see happy birthday in the comments immediately, but yeah, today is my birthday, which is why, as you can see, I have my birthday queen sash on. We have like a cake hat. This is kind of foreshadowing what's to come today. To celebrate this occasion, of course, today we are going to be building a giant cake house, which I'm actually so excited for. But as well, tonight we will also be doing a birthday live stream, so I think it'll be at around 8 p.m. UK time. And obviously, if you're watching this late, this was for the 6th of October, okay? If it's not the 6th of October anymore, it's not my birthday. But we are going to get straight into the cake house, and I'm going to show you how I actually made this structure of the cake before we actually decorate this thing. So to make the cake house shape, I first made a round room with walls, which was obviously super easy. But then for the second floor, it was going to get a bit more difficult because this was going to be another layer of the cake, but I really wanted it to be slanted as if it was kind of like a realistic cake shape, which was a bit wonky, so it was going to get a bit confusing. I started by making a circular shaped disc out of basic shapes to work out the size of the top layer, and then once that was done, I added basic shaped walls to each side, and this went really well, except it then hit me that 1, I needed a way to climb into the top floor, plus 2, the floor needed to be flat so I could actually place things down on it, and because it was wonky, it was obviously now not flat. So to fix this, I spent ages making a hole for the ladder and also adding a new floor layer so that it was like level to the actual floor. It was very confusing and time consuming, but eventually I ended up with a pretty cool structure. I think this is looking pretty cute. I kind of feel like I should have made the bottom layer a bit taller, but it's fine, okay? We are gonna hop into build mode and actually start decorating this. So my rough plan for this thing is that it's obviously gonna be pink and stuff, but it's also gonna have, as you can see by my little kind of doodle here, it's gonna have icing around it. I want some cherries and some candles on top. I might put like a 21 on the front because I'm 21. Oh my god, I'm so old. I don't know, but this is what we're going for. It's obviously gonna be bright pink, so I think the first thing I'm gonna do is find kind of like a nice pink color for it. But yeah, if you didn't know, I'm turning 21 today. Obviously, when I'm recording this, it's not my birthday yet, but when you're seeing this, I'm now 21, which is kind of crazy. So many of you think I'm like 12. Okay, not 12. I get a lot of comments saying they think I'm like 15 or 16, especially because I kind of look younger, but no, I'm in my 20s now, which is absolutely horrifying. But I do seem to kind of look younger for my age. I don't really see it, but I know a lot of people do. Like the amount of times, there was a time a few months ago where I opened the door for the postman and he was like talking to me weirdly, and I was like, oh, he thinks I'm a lot younger than I am, because it happens all the time where I can tell people are talking to me as if I'm like a 13-year-old because they think I'm kind of younger. So he was like talking to me like that, and then he was like, I can't remember what he said. I think he asked like how old I was or something, and I was like, oh, I'm 20, and he was like, what? Because he thought I was 12 years old, which is actually insanity. I'm curious on how old you guys actually thought I was, but yeah, I'm turning 21 today, and as you're watching this right now, I'll probably be at dinner. I'm going to TGI Fridays for like a birthday dinner before I come home and stream, and I'm so excited. The last time I went to TGI Fridays was like 3 years ago on my birthday as well. I just love TGI Fridays. I love their kind of like sesame chicken. I feel like that's such a basic order, but it's the best thing they do, okay? But then I'm gonna come home and we're gonna do a stream, which I'm hoping most of you guys will tune in for in a few hours. This video will be going up, I think, a couple hours beforehand. I'm not too sure yet. Oh my gosh, wait, I've just had an idea. Do I make the walls inside look like cake? Ignore the insane amount of like lights I have in here, but if I have like the snow texture and we kind of give it like this beigey color, this looks like cake. Oh my god, wait, this is genius. We're gonna have the inside look like the inside of the cake. But yeah, the birthday stream should be super fun. What I'm gonna do now is try and do the icing, because I feel like I have to kind of decorate the outside before I know where the windows are gonna go. And what I usually do for the icing is, this is how I did it in my gingerbread house last year. So what I do is I grab a sphere, I make it white, and then I've also added the snow texture on this just to kind of give it a bit more texture. And then let me just resize this a little bit. Here we go. And then what we can do is basically just add these. Does this show inside? Okay, it does, but this can kind of be cute. I feel like if I do this, it kind of like gives us the wall trim inside and outside. But yeah, basically what I do is just add these all next to each other. I think I'm gonna kind of stick it on top first so I can make sure the kind of strips are copy and pastable, because it will make this a lot quicker. But here we go. If I keep doing this, it's gonna make the inside kind of trim look cute too, and then we can just put like icing everywhere. But anyways, speaking of cake, I've just come upstairs to film, okay, and I've literally just finished eating a Nutella muffin, which are incredible by the way, but my mum bought us this like bag of like 4 frozen ones, which I'd never seen before. And she was like, oh yeah, you can just put them in the microwave, because like on the packaging it says put them in the microwave specifically for 2 minutes, okay? On the same setting that our microwave is on, it said to put it in the microwave for 2 minutes to defrost it because it was still frozen. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have one of these. I will put it in the microwave for 2 minutes as per the package is telling me to do. So I put it in the microwave, I turn around, I start talking to my mum, and a minute and a half goes by, so not even the full 2 minutes, and I turn back around and the microwave is smoking. Like there is smoke coming out of the microwave. Not tons, but like a very decent amount. And I was like, oh my god, and you can tell it wasn't steam, it was very clearly smoke because you could smell it. And I was like, oh no, the cake. So I ran to the microwave, I opened the door, and when I opened it, the biggest cloud of smoke just came out of the microwave. I couldn't even see the muffin. It was just engulfed in this big cloud of smoke. So I immediately just shut the door again, okay? I was a coward. I was like, oh my god. I was scared the muffin was on fire, so my mum had to open it because I didn't want to touch it. The muffin was fine, it wasn't on fire, it was just incredibly burnt. So the packaging was incredibly misleading, because what do you mean I managed to burn a Nutella muffin in the microwave? And it wasn't even in for the full amount of time. The amount of smoke that came out was actually insane, but I still wanted a muffin, so I got another one and I put it in the microwave. But this time I wasn't gonna leave it unattended and make the same mistake. So I stood there and watched it, and it was done after 30 seconds. Why did they put 2 minutes on the packaging? Like, it was on the same setting they told me to put it on. Nutella could have been responsible for burning my house down, but it was a good muffin once I ate the one that wasn't burnt. Okay, this is looking pretty good. I'm nearly done. I'm gonna add these around the kind of bottom of the cake as well. I'm kind of debating whether I put the snow texture on the cake, but I feel like it kind of just looks weird when it's like a pink color. Or does this look kind of good? Because it looks more realistic having like a texture on it, but I just don't know what to add. I mean, this kind of looks okay. Let me see how it looks if I do this. Okay, this looks good in this lighting. Do we think this is cute? I have no idea. It just looks a bit lumpy. I went out of build mode, so I can't even click the back arrow. I'm just gonna recolor it to what I had, and then I will see at the end if I kind of want to change the texture a little bit. What I'm gonna go and do quickly is finish the kind of icing on the top bit and kind of work out where the windows are gonna go. And then what I think I'm gonna do is finish off the outside decoration before we move on to kind of like the cake interior. So I've pretty much finished off the kind of structure of the cake house. It took far too long because I realized obviously this floor is all made out of walls, so I could easily kind of paint the inside to be a different color to the outside, but the top portion up here is actually basic shape, so I basically had to add a whole other layer in here to be able to color it, which is what I've just spent the past hour doing. But I've also added some like cute little windows made of icing. We have like the door area. I think this is looking pretty adorable, so what we're gonna do now is finish the outside, or at least do a decent amount of it. And what I'm actually starting with is candles, so I'm just trying to see how big I need to make them. I think that's kind of good because I don't want to have them huge, but I do actually want to add fire onto these. So what I'm gonna do for that is I'm gonna add kind of like the wick of the candle first, like this. I'm just gonna make them yellow for now. I might change it, but this is kind of like the basic candle size. And then for the fire, what we're gonna do is we are gonna grab, this is actually how I make Bunsen burners in school builds. We are gonna grab the tiki torch, we are gonna change the flame color, and then what we can do is hide the torch inside of the candle like this. Okay, I don't think this is big enough to kind of hide everything. Let me just make the candle a bit chunkier. There we go. Okay, you know what? That's good enough. And there we go. We have our candle. So now we can kind of add these around. I really want to have some like cherries and kind of cute things on it too. So this isn't kind of like all the decoration we're doing, but I thought this would be really cute. Oh my gosh, this is actually adorable. Look at that. And then we can also have them on the top here like this. Wait, that's actually adorable. Stop it. How cool is that? It's very bright though. Do I kind of need to color the flame differently because this is extremely bright? Here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna leave the color of the flames like that for now, and then once we have all the lighting inside done, we can kind of work out how this needs to look. But what we're gonna do now is move onto the inside, and what I want to do in here is obviously this is gonna be, you can see I've kind of marked stuff out a little bit. We have like a kitchen, like a living room, dining room area. This was meant to go over here, so we're just gonna try and kind of furnish this, but I want everything to still be kind of like cake themed or made out of like candy and stuff, so everything's meant to look edible, very similar to when I do my gingerbread houses every year. We want all of this to look like food or birthday related even. Oh my gosh, wait, there's little party hats, isn't there? We can even have like cute party things. Oh my gosh, should we have like plushies and put the party hat on them? That is gonna be so adorable. Anyways, I'm just gonna start by adding the basic kind of furniture in here, like the kitchen and everything. But whilst I've been building this, I've kind of been sat here and like thinking about like my birthdays and my birthday parties, and I haven't really done anything for my birthday since I was like 14 years old, because every year I'm just like, okay, all I really care about is eating cake and getting like a Chinese takeaway. That's like my favorite thing to do. But when I was younger, I was very lucky to have had a lot of kind of birthday parties. My mum always went like above and beyond for my birthday. Some of them were actually crazy. I remember my 7th birthday was like a Build-A-Bear party, and that was like one of the coolest things ever. I'm trying to think of other ones. I remember my 12th birthday was one of my favorites of all time because we went to Harry Potter Studios, and oh my god, I used to be the biggest Harry Potter fan to like a crazy extent. There was like this little trivia game, which I can't remember what it's called, but you know, like the little kind of question things and people have to answer questions about a topic. I had a Harry Potter version of that, and I used to get people to play it with me all the time, like my family, but then they stopped playing with me because apparently it's not fun when I get everything right and I win every time. But I genuinely was like so obsessed with Harry Potter. I had like custom Harry Potter robes my mum made me. I knew everything about it to an insane degree. So that was one of like my favorite birthdays just because it was obviously so cool. I remember, this is gonna sound so sad, when we got to like the room where you see like the model of the castle, I cried. 12-year-old me just burst into tears because I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. And then on my 8th birthday, this is gonna make me sound so old because I know some of you weren't even alive at this point, which is terrifying, but I remember when the Hotel Transylvania movie came out, I went with some of my friends to like see it in the cinema. Like that was kind of like my birthday party, which was so cute, but it was such a long time ago. It was like, what, 13 years? Oh my god, I'm so old. By the way, whilst I was editing this, I suddenly remembered a memory from that birthday, and it was the fact that after we watched the movie, we went to this restaurant which had a like soft play area in it, and I remember the soft play had like these 2 Xboxes, and there were these boys in the play area who we started beefing with because they wouldn't let us play on the Xbox. And I also remember when they brought my birthday cake out, I hid under the table because I didn't like people singing to me. But yeah, there's a fun little extra detail for you. But yeah, I've had some great birthdays. As of recently, I don't do anything for them really, except this year we're going to Center Parcs obviously, which is insane, but most of the time I'm just very happy to kind of eat food, and that's kind of like the highlight of my birthday for me. Okay, I'm really struggling with this design, as you can tell. I was trying to go for like a more of a cake, like it's kind of baked into the wall for the kitchen, but I have no idea what I'm doing. So what I'm actually gonna do is go and kind of research like sweets and cakes and kind of get some inspo on what I want things to look like, and then we're gonna try and actually make some custom furniture. So to start making my edible furniture, I began with the couch, and I didn't really know what this was gonna look like. I had no idea what I was trying to make, so I just added like a little blanket thing that was meant to kind of look like those fizzy rainbow belt sweets. Then for the pillows, I actually used a red heart pillow and then added a white one on the back just to make it look like those Haribo sweets. And then it finally hit me that I could make the couch look like it was actually built inside an actual sweet wrapper, so I added some basic shaped squares around it and also these pyramids to make the ends of the wrapper and just made it look like a sweet. And then I also added a small blue chair using the same technique, so this was kind of meant to look like a sweet too, including a star version of the Haribo kind of pillow thing. Once that was done, I moved on to the kitchen area and decided that this was going to be like a chocolate kind of theme, my favorite. So I painted all the counters and stuff brown, and then I made a small kind of square tile out of basic shaped squares and basically just covered the countertops with these to make it look like the top of a chocolate bar. The last kind of big furniture item to do was then the dining table, which I wanted to make look like an ice cream sandwich. So I made the kind of big shapes for the table, and then in the middle added like a smaller layer for the ice cream, and then on top of it I added some chocolate chips on top of the cylinder shapes and lowered them into the table to make them as flat as possible. Going back to the kitchen, I wanted some kind of cool tile type thing, so I did try chocolate buttons, but it looked pretty bad, so then I decided to add like a backsplash that looked like the kind of cake icing and just cover it in sprinkles and stuff instead. I added the Christmas peppermint pillows, then also some little presents to make it more birthday themed, plus I even added some sprinkles too, and then I moved on to making a lamp that looked like a lollipop. I actually did this back in my gingerbread build from last year, so this was kind of just stealing from that one, but that was pretty much it. So one of the final things I have to do down here is kind of like the table area, and it's meant to look like a birthday party. So I have my guests, we have Bloxburg Tom and the elf and the heart plushie, the bear and the squirrel plushie. We're gonna put like little hats on them and make it look like they're kind of sitting in the chairs and add some cake and stuff. But after that, we're pretty much done down here and we're gonna move on to upstairs. The first thing we have to do is actually put them in the chairs. Now Tom is kind of easy because I can kind of just like do this and then put the chair directly behind him and then he looks perfect. But the other ones, because they're so tiny, can I put them? No, I can't. I'm gonna have to transform them onto the chairs, but also I'm gonna have to transform some books onto the chairs too, so it kind of looks like they're propped up, because obviously they're too small to actually just sit on the chairs. You wouldn't be able to see them, so I'm gonna have to make them kind of like mini booster seats basically. So we're gonna do this. We put them on the basic shape and we can put them on top, and it's kind of like, there we go. They're tall enough now. Oh my gosh, wait, that's actually so cute. That's kind of too tall though. Let me like shrink this down. Actually, I probably only need one stack. They're is the bear. Oh my god, he's so tiny. Also, I feel like we need more plushies so bad. I love the little squirrel one. It's actually adorable. It's even cooler that it's obviously like an Easter egg to a different game, but I feel like we need more. I really want a plushie of Billy Goat, the mascot in the new school, because I love him so much. I'm obsessed with him. I am so emotionally attached to the mascot. He is actually the cutest thing ever, and I think they should give us a plushie of him. Loads of people keep saying he's scary. I don't think he is. He's just adorable. Okay, last one. We have the elf now, and then we can give them all party hats. Can I resize the party hat? No. Okay, this is kind of gonna like completely cover the elf's head, but it's fine. Oh my god, stop. How adorable does he look? Oh my goodness. Wait, I'm actually gonna cry. This is so cool. This is actually the cutest thing I've ever done. Wait, stop. This is actually the funniest thing ever. Oh my god. Okay, that's kind of falling off his head, but it's fine. Here's all my party guests. Okay, now what we have to do is decorate the table. The first thing I want to do is I have some birthday cake and some birthday cupcakes to kind of put out, so I'm just gonna grab these out the fridge. Please ignore the insane amount of Halloween food I have. You guys will understand why in a couple weeks time. Where's my cakes gone? I just got some. Here we go. We have the birthday cakes. We're gonna decorate the first layer of the kind of cake stand with the birthday cakes. This is the main cake we're gonna put on top. I know it's not the one with the candles, but it's my favorite color. So I love chocolate and I love pink, so I feel like I had to use that one. And then I'm also gonna put some over here as if they've been made on this kind of cooling rack. So we're just gonna place these and some more on the tray as if they've just come out the oven, even though they have icing on, so that really wouldn't make any sense, but it's fine. And then we are gonna hop back into build mode and add the final touches. I'm gonna give them all like a little paper plate as if we're eating birthday food. I mean, I don't know where I'm gonna sit. I feel like I clearly wasn't invited to my own birthday party. We're gonna do some pink candles, and there we go. This is kind of like my little party. Oh yeah, I added like presents as if they all gave me a present as well, but I think this is looking pretty good. So what we're gonna do is move on to upstairs. Now I have already put some stuff in upstairs, but what we're gonna do for the bed is I was trying to make like a gumdrop kind of bed, but I think what we're gonna do is use kind of chocolate so it matches the kitchen. Let me just steal this part and be lazy. So we're gonna try and make a chocolate bed frame. Maybe the gumdrops could stay as well. We could have like a mixture. Oh my gosh, wait, this is so cute. It's so hard though. The upstairs is so trippy because the floor is flat, but the walls are all like slanted to the side, and it's really confusing to look at. I'm just trying to kind of extend the boards a little bit. I feel like they're a bit too small. This is also weirdly making me hungry. Okay, so I kind of finished off the bedroom. It's honestly very kind of plain because I couldn't think of anything to put up here, but the bed looks pretty cool. I added the kind of rainbow fizzy belt as like a blanket, like an ice cream neon sign. We have the line of like the kind of icing throughout the cake up here as well. We have like this area. It's pretty simple. I think it looks okay, but yeah, there's not really much I could think to put in here, but I think it looks okay. I really love the bed. This is really cute, but what we're gonna do now is finish the outside of the cake. I want to add kind of like some mounds of icing and like cherries on top, and I kind of wanted to have, I don't know, I kind of wanted to put like 21 on it somewhere because obviously that's how old I'm turning, but I don't know where to put it. Maybe at the front, or maybe I just leave it like this because I don't want to ruin it. Wow, it's bright up here. The candles are crazy. Anyways, we're gonna make these kind of little mounds of icing, and then we're gonna stick some cherries on top. So we're just gonna do this. I'm gonna have a smaller one on top like this, and then we can add these in every kind of gap around the candles. And then for the cherry, this should be pretty easy to build. Hopefully, we're just gonna take a little round basic shape, just make this red. I'm gonna make it a bit smaller just so it fits on better. For the stem of the cherry, obviously I want to use structurals, but it's gonna be really hard to do if I want to be able to copy and paste it. Here we go. Actually, no, I think this will be fine. Does this look like a cherry enough? If I put it in here, this is kind of cute. Wait, okay, let me add these everywhere else and see how it looks. Oh my gosh, wait, that's actually adorable. Do I put them on like the lower level? Like around here? I kind of feel like I should. I love this. This is actually the cutest thing ever. Okay, now let me see what this looks like. Wait, stop it. That's actually so cute. The cherries were such a good addition. I feel like I can't fit the numbers anywhere. I think this looks good enough though. But what I think I'm gonna do is, because this is pretty much done, I'm just gonna go around and do some final details and maybe add the decals and stuff. And then I will see you guys in a few seconds for a small little kind of final tour. Okay, the cake house is all done and we are gonna take a look because this thing is absolutely glorious. Look at this thing. Oh my goodness, I love it. This is actually the coolest house I have ever made. But this is the outside. So obviously we have our pink kind of iced cake with white icing and some candles and cherries and kind of whipped cream, I guess. I just think it looks so cool, especially from kind of like this angle down here. It looks so good. I am so happy with it. But this is kind of like what the outside looks like. Obviously there's not really anything around it, so we are gonna go inside and have a look at the interior. So first of all, let's start over here. We have kind of like our lollipop lamp, some kind of like coat racks and umbrellas and balloons, and then we have our mini kind of like a living room area. So we have a cake ice, like a kind of chimney and fireplace. We have our our little sweet themed chairs. So we have this one and we have this one. Now I wasn't sure how these were going to turn out, but I think they look adorable. Oh my god, I actually love it in here. And then we have another candle and lollipop, and then we have the kitchen, which is all chocolate themed. So we have kind of like our candy backsplash. I don't know why there's a random hat there. Our little baking area. It just looks super cute. And I also use these because they kind of remind me of like the little UFO sweets that have the sherbet in them. But then if we go over here, we have my little birthday party. Look at this thing. Oh my gosh, look at Tom. Look at everyone in their little party hats. We have like the kind of ice cream sandwich table. It's very colorful over here. We have some more presents on a kind of chocolate themed table. But this is kind of it for downstairs. I think it looks really fun, very colorful. I'm really happy with how it turned out, but we are going to go up the icing ladder to the bedroom, which isn't as kind of interesting, but I still think it's super cute. So we have our like chocolate bed with some kind of sweets on top. It's so cozy in here and like wonky. We have like a dressing area and a chair, and that's kind of it. But I think it just looks so fun in here. I love kind of like the wonky walls. It's really confusing to look at. It's actually just the coolest thing ever. Now, one thing I didn't do was add a ladder to climb up, and I really want to get on the top of this thing, so I'm gonna put a ladder on the back. I'm hoping I can kind of climb over the icing, but we're gonna see if we can stand on the middle of the cake. It kind of does match my little hat as well. Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh, wait, and then if we climb up the side of the wall, oh my gosh, is it too steep? I can't get up. Oh my goodness, here we go. Oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing ever. Look, here we have my beautiful cake house. I actually want to eat this so bad, but that is pretty much it. That is my little kind of birthday cake house to celebrate my birthday. I think we did a great job, but let me know what you think down below. And that's kind of it for today's video. Now, obviously, I am going to be streaming later. You're all invited to my little birthday party stream, but that's kind of it for this video. It's a super fun one. I had so much fun doing this one. It's genuinely one of my favorite builds of all time, but that is it for today, and I will see you all later. Thank you all so much for kind of coming and celebrating my birthday with me, but as per usual, a huge shout out to all my channel members, which we have a lot of now, kind of crazy. So thank you to all these people. Thank you so much for joining the channel, even though most of you got a gifted sub from Creekcraft. Anyways, we also have my lovely Nitro boosters. Thank you guys so much for boosting the server. And finally, all my merch buyers from back in February. Thank you all so much for buying my real life merch drop, but that is it for today's video, and I will see you all later. I love you all so much, glossettes. XOXO, Glossy Girl.